But this one was from Sludge. And this one is a good story and a happy story. And we don't get too many of these, so I wanted to focus on something that's uplifting. And it does, of course, come from the Brennan Center, which we know is not exactly the most left-wing organization. However, this talks about New York City's match funding for local city council candidates and how they had provided an up to 8-to-1 matching and how it was successful in allowing more women, women of color and women candidates and people of color in general to be elected to city council office than ever before. And as you can see, that's what David Moore over at Sludge said in his headline, subheadline. So, new report from the Nonpartisan Policy Institute Brennan Center for Justice, which has studied New York City election campaign finance laws for over a decade, finds the share of women for the People's City Council will surpass the 52% of the city's population made up by women, and people of color on the council will nearly match their share of 68% of city residents. Hey, how about that? Adequate, like, real representation? That's pretty unbelievable.
Yeah.
Right? So, city council candidates who participated in the program have donations from city residents up to the first $175 in a contribution matched at an 8-to-1 ratio, meaning that a $175 check qualifies for $1,400 funding. And that's helping to level the playing field for city council. They also agree to observe individual contribution limits of $1,000, maximum in city council races, right? And spending limits that this year were $190,000 in each of the primary and general elections. Big fan of spending limit for sure.
So what are those? Explain to the kids at home what those spending limits would do, right? Like
they would cap how much a campaign could feasibly spend, at least the campaign itself. Now, that doesn't speak for any dark money or super PAC
or PAC money or
But this is specifically what kind of contribution. Yeah, they could exactly in order to be eligible for the 8-to-1 matching on.
So is that in each of the primaries? So you get that for the primary and general, apparently.
Yes.
Okay. Why 190,000 seems an arbitrary.
These are city council races. I mean, they're not federal office. Number one,
just bump it up to 2. You know, it's like $9.99.
There's some kind of $10. I'm guessing that there's some kind of a calculation or formula that they're using here.
Sure.
And to everyone on Twitter, I'm sorry that the stream and the images is not a little clearer, but it looks like it's a little blurry.
Weird.
But the public financing system, again, this is Jumaane Williams, who's a public advocate. He actually, I remember in 2018, he ran against Nomiki Konst, who was running for New York City public advocate. All people.
Nomiki Konst, cool.
But the public financing system allows folks to listen to the mass of people because it spreads out who has the ability to touch elected officials. Yeah, you can speak to people who give $5 and $10, and that's all they can afford.
Right.
I would hope that if you're running for public advocate, you'd be doing that anyway and trying to represent them even more than the people who can cut $1 check. Because they're good already. They don't necessarily need your influence much, guy. So, reminding people that the successful 2018 ballot initiative to strengthen that matching was based on legislation introduced in 2016 by Ben Kallos, who sought to boost the matching ratio for small donations of $175 or less and slash the maximum allowable contribution for participating candidates to encourage small donors. And I think that that's great.
Well, you better get hip to indie left, indie left, indie left.news.